Welcome to Fantasy Audiobook. Fantasy. My skills can be upgraded infinitely. 1. Chapter 1. Ding. Your plug-in has arrived. Qingzhou, Fangaria. Deluocean. 9 peaks stand in a row, all towering into the clouds and majestic. On every mountain peak, there are a series of luxurious palaces. In terms of luxury and atmosphere, it is more than one level better than an ordinary palace. On the mountainside of one of the peaks, in a row of houses. Who am I? Where am I? A young boy with an immature face opened his eyes in confusion. In his mind, countless messages were mingling, giving him a splitting headache. He couldn't help but hit his head, trying to relieve the pain, but it had no effect. After a long while, the information was finally integrated. My name is Zhang Heng. Is this Qingzhou? He sat up from the bed, his eyes clear again. Looked around. This is a quaint and simple room. There is a set of tables and chairs on one side of the room, and a somewhat worn futon on the other side, and he is sitting on the bed at the innermost side. Sure enough, is it time travel? Similar to an ancient fantasy world. Zhang Heng was an ordinary office worker on Shuilan Star in his previous life. He was nearly 30 years old and still accomplished nothing. Despite his parents' eager urging to get married, he was still alone. The days were ordinary and boring. Until one day, he was walking on the road and was hit by a red sports car that ran off the road and flew more than 10 meters away. After that, he completely lost consciousness. Now, his consciousness merges with that of a young man also named Zhang Heng. According to Zhang Heng's memory in this world, this is a world where martial arts is respected. The strong man can fly into the sky and escape from the earth, catch the stars and the moon, and is almost omnipotent. Even an ordinary person, with a little practice, can be more powerful than the boxing champion Zhang Heng was in his previous life. The world structure is also very different from the ancient times in previous lives. There are sects, dynasties, and holy places in this world, but they are extremely harmonious with each other. According to Zhang Heng's understanding, the imperial dynasty is a subordinate of the Holy Land and is only responsible for managing secular institutions. Zongmen are equivalent to individual group companies. The Holy Land is actually equivalent to the sect, but it is superior to both. He is even directly the controller of the dynasty, but he doesn't care about worldly affairs, only focuses on cultivation, and controls the stability and harmony of the overall situation. Zhang Heng is currently in the famous top sect in Qingzhou, Deluo sect. Generally speaking, there are 3 ways to enter Deluo sect. The first type is a young man with a clean family background and high talent. He can become an outer disciple directly after entering the school. He can practice various techniques of Deluo sect and enjoy the support of Deluo sect. The second type, young men with a clean family background but low talent, after passing the assessment, can become entry-level servants. Only after they have advanced to martial arts and become formal warriors can they become outer disciples. The third type is one who is powerful, recognized by the sect, and becomes a sect protector. And Zhang Heng is the second type. Hong Kong servants are not even considered disciples, they are just equivalent to doing odd jobs within the sect. Food and accommodation are included, and 2 days off per month are provided. Plus the opportunity to become a formal disciple of the sect. After sorting out his thoughts, Zhang Heng couldn't help but smile bitterly. This is like entering a black factory, and you don't even get a salary. I really envy those talented people. Not only do they become outer disciples as soon as they get started, they don't have to work, they just need to practice every day. However, even though he was teasing himself like this, he also knew it. Even if you just have the opportunity to enter a sect, it is much better than accepting your fate and being an ordinary person. Even as a handyman, there are countless young people vying to join. Just for a chance to become a warrior. Who makes him have low talent? At this time, ding, the potential upgrade system has been activated. As the mechanized voice sounded, an inexplicable message also entered Zhang Heng's mind. System. Zhang Heng was stunned on the spot for a moment, and then he was ecstatic. As a senior online novel reader in his previous life, he is naturally no stranger to the system. This is a must-have golden finger for time travelers. With the system, even people with cerebral palsy can counterattack and become the strongest in the world. As the information in his mind was digested, Zhang Heng also understood the functions of the system. Potential upgrade system. As the name suggests, you can use potential points to infinitely upgrade your own cultivation or skills. There are two sources of potential points. The first type comes from cultivation. The second type comes from fighting. It seems to be an ordinary system. Zhang Heng had seen many invincible systems in novels in his previous life, so after calming down, the system he awakened felt a bit ordinary. However, it would be nice to have a tow truck. What else do you need a bicycle for? Zhang Heng got up from the bed, ready to try out the system's functions. Standing in an open space, Zhang Heng began to carefully recall the foundation building technique in his memory, the Yuanxi creation Kung Fu. The practice of this world is purely about polishing the physical body in the initial stage of foundation building. The most important thing is to eat. The more you eat, the better you eat, the better you absorb nutrients, and the faster you practice. And this skill, it can maximize the efficiency of eating. It is said that eating radish can produce the effect of ginseng. It is the top foundation building method in the world, and it is also the most widely spread method in the world. The young man Zhang Heng didn't understand why the best technique was made public, but now that he has merged with the memory of Aqua Blue Star Zhang Heng, he understood it after a little thought. With the top-level foundation building skills, it is easier for people with high talents to stand out and enter the attention of major sects and even holy places. In any case, the mid to high-end military force in this world is terrifyingly strong, and there is no need to worry about civil force causing unrest. Besides, even so, this does not mean that everyone is a master. Martial arts practice requires both talent and massive resources. When ordinary families discover that their children have good talents, they may spend all their money to support their cultivation, or they may immediately send them to a sect. But when it is discovered that the talent is average, more families will only practice appropriate exercises to strengthen their bodies in order to make ends meet. So, most of the civilians in this world can only be regarded as ordinary people. Otherwise, Zhang Heng would not have come to Deluo sect to be a handyman. After reviewing all the details of the Yuanxi creation Kung Fu in my mind, the movements, mental methods, and breathing methods are all clear in my mind. Coupled with the body's instinct and countless practices in memory, Zhang Heng is confident. After taking a deep breath, start practicing. Whoops! A punch was thrown out, cutting through the air and making a sharp whistle. Then he turned around. His whole body seemed to become softer, and his arms spread out backwards. His body is sometimes stretched and sometimes tense. The posture is weird, but it has a strange beauty. Breathing is sometimes fast and sometimes slow. At the same time, a series of voices kept ringing in his mind. But Zhang Heng, who was immersed in cultivation, had no energy to pay attention. About a quarter of an hour later, Zhang Heng closed his fist and stood up. Then I opened the system prompt window and took a look, only to see densely packed prompt boxes completely filling it. Ding. During practice, gain 2 potential points. Ding. During practice, gain 2 potential points. Ding. During practice, gain 2 potential points. Ellipsis. He opened his personal panel again. Open black lens bracket host close black lens bracket, Zhang Heng. Open black lens bracket cultivation close black lens bracket, Mortal Realm 383 1000. Open black lens bracket main skills close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket Yuanxi creation skills, heaven level close black lens bracket, entry level. Open black lens bracket martial arts skills close black lens bracket, none. Open black lens bracket secret method close black lens bracket, none. Open black lens bracket potential points close black lens bracket, 100. Zhang Heng looked at his personal panel, thoughtfully. Divided according to the cultivation realm of this world. Before the martial arts officially enters the level, it is called the mortal realm, which is purely about tempering the body and polishing the strength. Generally speaking, the limit of strength in the mortal realm is about 1000 kilograms. His strength, according to the test a few days ago, is about 400 kilograms or less. The quantity is just right. By comparison, the cultivation value on the panel is roughly equivalent to 1 point corresponding to 1 kilogram of strength. In other words, 100 potential points can increase strength by 100 pounds. Thinking of this, Zhang Heng couldn't help but swallow his saliva, and couldn't help but feel excited. Add points. Add 100 points to your cultivation. Zhang Heng's thoughts moved, and the system panel immediately changed. At the same time, he felt a stream of heat appear in his body out of thin air, blending into every inch of flesh and blood. His muscles all over his body swelled slightly, becoming stronger and stronger. When he clenched his fist, he could clearly feel a huge increase in strength. Looking at the progress of cultivation again, it turned out to be 483 1/1000ths. Zhang Heng could not help but raise the corners of his mouth. It seems that what I expected was good. One potential point can increase 1 point of cultivation, which is almost equivalent to 1 kilogram of strength. Although I don't know if the ratio will be the same in the later realms, the capabilities the system has shown so far are simply too strong. This is just a practice. In just a quarter of an hour, I gained 100 pounds of strength. If you practice 10 hours a day, you can probably gain 4,000 pounds. 1 year later, nearly 1.5 million kilograms of power. Zhang Heng couldn't help but take a breath, and finally realized the horror of the system. Compared with the previous cultivation speed, it has increased by at least thousands of times. Not to mention, based on the description of the system in your mind, there is no limit to the system's ability to obtain potential points. If you continue to practice, you will continue to obtain potential points and your cultivation level will continue to improve. No bottlenecks. Chapter 2. Thinking of this, Zhang Heng quickly started practicing again. In the room, the air became agitated again. The system prompts sound continuously. Ding. During practice, gain 2 potential points. Ding. During practice, gain 2 potential points. Ellipsis. I don't know how long it took. Cuckoo. A strange sound came from the belly of Zhang Heng, who was immersed in cultivation. Zhang Heng couldn't help but stop his movements, and then he felt the strong hunger coming from his body, which even made him feel like he was lacking in essence and blood. He understood immediately. This is a side effect caused by too much intensity of cultivation and a large amount of nutrients being consumed in a short period of time. He opened his personal panel and looked at it. The current potential points have reached 400 points. Add points. Increase your cultivation by 400 points. With Zhang Heng's thought, a stream of heat appeared out of thin air again and quickly integrated into every inch of flesh and blood. His body is getting stronger at a speed visible to the naked eye. The power also skyrocketed. Open black lens bracket cultivation close black lens bracket. Mortal realm 883 1/1000ths. We are only one step away from entering the martial arts level. Zhang Heng smiled and was about to go to eat. At this moment, a sweet sound like silver bells came from outside the house. Brother Zhang Heng, are you at home? As soon as he finished speaking, a figure opened the door and ran in. This is a little girl who looks to be 13 or 14 years old, wearing a blue and white floral skirt. Her lips are red, her teeth are white, her skin is like gelatin, and her eyebrows are like a painting. Although she is still young, she can still see the charm of a peerless beauty. Zhang Heng, whose memories were completely integrated, recognized the other person immediately. Wen Qingxie, 14 years old, is the daughter of Elder Wen in the sect. When he was young, the relationship between the two families was very close, and the two were considered childhood sweethearts. After Zhang Heng's parents died, Zhang Heng was sent to an ordinary family to be raised, and contact was gradually lost. Until later, the original young Zhang Heng was unwilling to be ordinary and came to Deluo sect again, willing to become a handyman in order to gain the opportunity to become a warrior. Deluo sect has a strict system and will never hire anyone with insufficient talent. But if he was just a handyman, for the sake of Zhang Heng's parents and the help of Wen Qingxui's father, Zhang Heng was able to get in without taking the exam. All kinds of information flashed through my mind instinctively. Zhang Heng smiled, looked at Wen Qingxui's pretty face and asked, Qingxue, why are you looking for me? The fusion of memories made him feel no stranger to the other person, just like good friends who had been together for many years. I'm here to tell you some good news. Just today, I have made a breakthrough and become an official warrior. From now on, you will call me senior sister. Wen Qingxue raised her pretty face, her expression full of pride. Zhang Heng was shocked and surprised by her talent. His own cultivation talent is extremely mediocre, and he is not even qualified to become a handyman in Deluo sect. At the age of 16, he only weighed less than 400 kilograms. Normally, it would take at least 3 or 4 years to break through to the warrior realm. In other words, you need to be around 20 years old to successfully break through. Wen Qingxie, who turned 13 only last month, has now become an official warrior. Although there is a gap in resources, it is enough to see her unique talent. Quick, call me senior sister and listen. Hurry up, call out. Junior brother Zhang. Seeing that Zhang Heng didn't speak, Wen Qingxie continued to pester him relentlessly. Zhang Heng's mouth twitched slightly as he looked at the young and pretty face in front of him. Having the memory of a 30-year-old man, he really couldn't speak out. At this time, it suddenly occurred to him that when the system awakened, the information received in his mind stated that winning the battle could gain potential points. When fighting across realms, the potential points gained will be doubled tenfold. I am already close to the critical point of breakthrough. In the mortal realm, I can be considered a strong person. The Wen Qingxie in front of her is a little girl who has just made a breakthrough and has no combat experience. She should be regarded as the weakest official warrior, right? In other words, this is the easiest level battle. Think of this. Zhang Heng couldn't help but fell into deep thought. Then he clenched his fist and struck Wen Qingxie in the eye with lightning speed that could steal the jingle bell. Bump. Ah! Wen Qingxie screamed in surprise. Unprepared, he was hit so hard that he leaned back and almost fell to the ground. Formal warriors in the physical realm are far more powerful than ordinary people in the extraordinary realm, so don't be careless. Zhang Heng kept doing nothing, took half a step forward, and punched Wen Qingxie in the other eye socket again, knocking him to the ground. Then he quickly pounced on her, twisted her hands and pinned her behind her back. Brother Zhang Heng, I was wrong. Stop fighting. Wen Qingxui's eyes were slightly red and swollen, her whole body was pressed to the ground, unable to turn over, and she suddenly cried loudly. Zhang Heng sighed deliberately and said righteously, for a warrior, cultivation alone is not enough. Martial arts and combat experience are both indispensable. Your cultivation is better than mine, but you still can't beat me. Do you still want me to call you senior sister? Wen Qingxie suddenly became angry and shouted. That's because of your sneak attack. Otherwise, I can definitely defeat you. Zhang Heng's tone became serious and he began to preach. There are no excuses for winning or losing. In the future, if you enter the Zhonggu and are attacked and killed by others, no one will say it's unfair on your behalf. Remember, results are the most important. Wen Qingxie instinctively felt that something was wrong, but when she thought about it carefully, she felt that it made sense. After hesitating for a moment, she could only say, okay, I am a junior sister, and I admit defeat. Brother Zhang Heng, please let me go. Ding. Victory in the leapfrog battle. Gain 1000 potential points. In my mind, the system prompts sounded at the right time. Zhang Heng couldn't help but be ecstatic. The potential points gained from just such a simple battle were equivalent to several hours of non-stop training. He subconsciously relaxed the strength of his hands. And Wen Qingxie, who was under him, suddenly changed her expression. The opportunity is here. Wen Qingxui's body twisted quickly, escaped from the control of Zhang Heng's hands, and got out from under him. Junior brother Zhang Heng, I don't care, what happened just now doesn't count. Now, I want to formally challenge you. If I win, you will call me senior sister from now on. If I lose, I will call you senior brother. Wen Qingxui's face was full of anger, and she stared at Zhang Heng who was in a daze. Formal challenge. Zhang Heng came back to his senses. Looking at Wen Qingxui's expression, she suddenly smiled teasingly. Okay, come on. While speaking, Zhang Heng had a thought. Add a bit. A large stream of heat appeared out of thin air in Zhang Heng's body, rapidly strengthening his body again. Inside Zhang Heng's body, energy and blood surged crazily. There was even a faint sound of the rushing river, like the roar of muffled thunder. His eyes sparkled. The qi and blood energy in the body is getting stronger and stronger, and it is becoming more and more turbulent, and even the air around him can be seen to be faintly distorted. And this distortion continues to spread outside the body. Gradually, a large piece of twisted aura enveloped his body, rising and swaying constantly. Like a mighty dragon, surrounding his body. The energy and blood are like a dragon. You have a breakthrough too. Wen Qingxie suddenly exclaimed. The energy and blood are like a dragon, which is a sign that the physical body has reached a new level and the martial arts has entered a new level. That is to say, from now on, Zhang Heng is already an official warrior. The corners of his mouth raised, excited. Half a day ago, the original young Zhang Heng only had more than 300 kilograms of strength, which was still far away from the limit of the human body in the mortal realm. Let alone break through to become a formal warrior. After awakening the system, Zhang Heng had already achieved a breakthrough in just half a day. What a dream this is. Chapter 3. Why are you so proud? You have just made a breakthrough, so you don't know who will be the best. Wen Qingxie gave a sweet shout. The energy and blood all over his body surged crazily, and his whole body was also shrouded in invisible arrogance. Bring it on. She kicked off her feet and shot out with electricity, punching Zhang Heng in the face. Zhang Heng chuckled, raised his hand casually, and held her delicate little fist in the palm of his hand. No matter how hard he struggled, he couldn't break free. You've just made a breakthrough. Why do you have so much strength? Wen Qingshui's face was filled with disbelief and her eyes widened. So, you are still far away. Zhang Heng smiled proudly. The fusion of memories is destined to influence each other. Even though Zhang Heng from Aqua Blue Star is a 30-year-old young man, his temperament has also changed after the memory was completely integrated with the young Zhang Heng. Especially in front of his childhood sweetheart Wen Qingxie, he became as cheerful and lively as a young man. Okay, I give up. Wen Qingxie pouted and said helplessly. Zhang Heng opened the latest personal dashboard and took a look. Open black lens bracket host close black lens bracket, Zhang Heng. Open black lens bracket cultivation close black lens bracket, first level of physical realm 883 10,000ths. Open black lens bracket main skills close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket Yuanxi creation skills heaven level close black lens bracket entry level. Open black lens bracket martial arts skills close black lens bracket none. Open black lens bracket secret method close black lens bracket none. Open black lens bracket potential point close black lens bracket 0. Not only has he just broken through, but he also has 883 points of cultivation in the physical realm, which is naturally much better than Wen Qingxie. It's a pity that no potential points were gained from this battle. He guessed. Either, it cannot be obtained continuously from one person. Either, it's because this isn't really fighting at all. I will definitely defeat you next time. Snort. Wen Qingxie snorted, turned around and left Zhang Heng's room. Zhang Heng is also preparing to take a bath and eat. Wen Qingxie outside the courtyard. As he walked, he covered his still aching eyes and muttered to himself angrily. Damn it. Brother Zhang Heng actually hit me. Until we get far away. In her mind, a vague female voice suddenly sounded. Xiaoshui, there was something unusual about that young man just now. If nothing else happens, his strength will probably improve by leaps and bounds soon. If you continue to practice step by step, you will probably never be able to defeat him. Wen Qingxie was not surprised at all by the voice in her head. Half a month ago, it was an ordinary afternoon. While Wen Qingxie was practicing in her small courtyard, a translucent light point flew from the sky and sank directly into her body. The speed of the light spot was extremely fast, and it did not attract anyone's attention even in the Deluo sect, which was full of experts. That night, Wen Qingxie had an extremely realistic dream. In a dream, there is an eldest sister named Xiao Lingyun, who not only has a peerless appearance, but also has terrifyingly advanced cultivation skills. With a snap of your fingers, there is a shocking sword light that is hundreds of miles long, cutting off everything. With a wave of his hand, the endless aura of heaven and earth forms a big hand holding up the sky, destroying all things. Wen Qingxie saw it clearly. In a shocking battle, countless strong men were suspended in the void, exuding a terrifying aura as deep as the sea, but they fell one after another under Xiao Lingyun's random moves. That was a shocking battle comparable to gods and demons. But later, under the siege of more and stronger opponents, Xiao Lingyun was finally defeated. After a self-destruction that destroyed everything, it turned into a wisp of soul fragments, flew across the endless void, and fell into Wen Qingshui's body. So, Wen Qingxie woke up. Xiao Lingyun's consciousness merged with hers. After several days of communication and testing, Wen Qingxie saw the other party's amazing strength and reached a preliminary cooperation. This was the next breakthrough. After hearing the voice in her head, Wen Qingxie curiously asked in her mind. Sister Lingyun, what do you mean by unusual? After several deliberate displays by the other party, Wen Qingxie certainly knew the other party's amazing methods and abilities. Since the other party said this, he must have really discovered an abnormality. Xiao Lingyun smiled faintly and said, in short, he should also have had some adventures, probably as much as yours. Wen Qingxie felt happy in her heart. Zhang Heng's talent has always been poor before. According to his father, his achievements in this life are at most limited to the physical realm. But now, with an adventure no less than hers, she might be able to rise quickly and become an extremely powerful person. But then, she seemed to have thought of something, and her face turned bitter again. Isn't it? Then I will be trapped under him for the rest of my life. At this time, Xiao Lingyun's voice sounded leisurely. That's not necessarily the case. With my help, you can become the most powerful person in the world in less than 10 years. Wen Qingxie cheered and asked quickly. Then what should I do? I will transfer my experience and martial arts insights directly into your mind. All you have to do is to work hard to refine various resources and infinitely improve your cultivation level. From now on, there are no bottlenecks anymore, and my cultivation level is soaring all the way. Wen Qingxie was a little hesitant. Although she is still young, she still has some concerns when faced with a huge pie falling from the sky. Xiao Lingyun continued. Don't worry. Since my soul has been integrated into your body, I will naturally share weal and woe with you and will not harm you. The faster you practice, the sooner you can help me rebuild my body. We will benefit from each other. Wen Qingxie then agreed with hesitation. Ellipsis. Daluo sect is the top sect in Qingzhou. Not to mention 9 towering mountains. There are countless minerals, shops, fields, pastures, etc. The population within the sect reaches hundreds of thousands, and the division of labor is also very clear. Each mountain peak has its own courtyard. It is divided into different branches. Some are responsible for raising livestock, some are responsible for growing medicinal materials, some are responsible for cleaning, some are responsible for cooking, some are responsible for building maintenance, etc. It is like a small society. Zhang Heng belongs to. It is the 8th branch of the 8th peak miscellaneous courtyard, responsible for raising livestock such as cattle and sheep as meat for everyone in the 8th peak. After taking a shower, Zhang Heng, wearing a gray uniform, walked into the cafeteria of the 8th branch. It was just time to eat at this time, and there were all kinds of sumptuous foods prepared on the dining table in the cafeteria. Zhang Heng received a large portion of food and found a seat in the slightly empty hall to sit down. Start to swallow in big mouthfuls. The rapid growth of his body seemed to mean a large consumption of energy in his body, making him feel hungrier than ever before. Fortunately, in Daluo sect, considering the appetite of martial arts practitioners, even the handymen are provided with an unlimited supply of food. After finishing one portion, Zhang Heng asked for 2 more portions before he was completely full. After eating, Zhang Heng went straight to the courtyard group where the outer disciples belonged. While it was still early, he had to finish the promotion matter today. Enjoy the benefits of being an outer disciple as soon as possible, and avoid having to go back to work in the courtyard tomorrow. Outside the 8th branch of the outer gate, there is a spacious hall with a plaque of School Martial Arts Hall. A deacon in blue sat behind the square table, drowsily. Zhang Heng pushed open the door, came to the table, and respectfully handed over his identity card. Sir Deacon, I'm here to apply for promotion to an outer disciple. The deacon in charge of the review was a middle-aged man with a Chinese character. He raised his head, half squinted his eyes, looked at Zhang Heng, and said casually. First lift up the stone pile over there, and then demonstrate the realm of martial arts with energy and blood as strong as a dragon. Zhang Heng put his identity card on the table, followed his instructions and came to the corner of the hall, stopping in front of a stone pile with the words, 1000 Jin, engraved on it. Hold the handle with both hands and apply force suddenly. Ha! He raised it above his head and held it for a few seconds before putting it down. Then he came to the open space in the middle of the hall and stood still. After brewing for a moment, the energy and blood in his body surged wildly like a river, and the air around him twisted and rose, shrouding his body like a big dragon. That's it. The deacon behind the square table looked calm. He picked up the ID tag Zhang Heng placed on the table and looked at it. Then he took out a new light cyan ID tag from the drawer. Raise your hand, press your index finger on the identity card, and feel the inner energy surge. Chapter 4. Promoted to Outer Disciple. Zhang Heng clearly saw that there seemed to be a layer of invisible energy covering the outside of his index finger, which was directly embedded in the identity card, and then began to swim away like a scorpion. This is the so-called true energy, right? Just an ordinary deacon has such a strong strength. Zhang Heng's face was slightly solemn. Based on the common sense learned in the courtyard. The first realm after entering the martial arts level is called the physical realm. This is very different from the body tempering in the mortal realm before entering the martial arts level. Mortal realm is simply about tempering one's body and enhancing one's strength. As for the physical realm, it is about refining the physical body internally and strengthening qi and blood. There are 10 minor realms in the physical realm. When you practice to the extreme, not only will your external strength and physical strength increase greatly, but your inner tendons, bones, blood, marrow, and orifices will all undergo qualitative changes. The human body will almost undergo a leap forward evolution. At this stage, his strength reaches 100,000 kilograms, which is almost equal to that of a human overlord. He can defeat an army with one person and defeat 10,000 with one. At the second level of martial arts, a more powerful and pure internal energy, true energy, is refined. That's why it's called the true qi realm. How strong it is specifically, the deacon of the courtyard did not say at the time, but what is certain is that with this obvious qualitative change, it must be much stronger than the limit of the physical realm. In Deluo sect, such a powerful junshi state is just an ordinary deacon. The deacon took out 2 new sets of outer disciple uniforms from the side and handed them to Zhang Heng together with the marked new identity tags. At the same time, he shouted to the back room. Xiao Fang, come here. A young handyman in gray clothes walked quickly and bowed in the direction of the deacon. Xiao Fang, take this newly promoted senior brother to pick out a vacant house. Yes, Mr. Deacon. The handyman boy came to Zhang Heng and bowed respectfully. Senior brother, please come with me. The moment Zhang Heng lowered his head, he clearly saw surprise and envy in his eyes. Although the opportunities for a handyman to be promoted to an outer disciple are fair, they are indeed not many. I am usually busy with work, so I don't have much time for cultivation. A young boy like Zhang Heng. Either you have a good talent and become an outer disciple directly when you first enter, or you have a bad talent and you are almost in your 20s when you get promoted. Facilitator Xiaofang led Zhang Heng around the outer branch, and at the same time briefly introduced the layout of the branch. The training ground, the canteen, the Enlu Hall where you receive benefits at the beginning of each month, the Tibetan Sutra Hall where you can view various martial arts secrets and miscellaneous information, the Xuanwu Hall where you can unify martial arts and resolve doubts, etc. We introduced them one by one and finally came to the residential area. Zhang Heng randomly chose an uninhabited house as his residence. Xiao Fang handed him a thin manual and left respectfully. The welfare of the outer disciples is really good. Looking at the manual in his hand, Zhang Heng couldn't help but sigh secretly. As an outer disciple, you don't have to work or talk. Not only do you own a single family house, you can also receive benefits at the beginning of each month, and you can also browse the books on the first floor of the Sutra Collection Hall. Compared with the treatment of handymen, it is like heaven and earth. It happened to be getting late at this time. Zhang Heng tidied up the house a little, then started to wash up and go to bed. The next day, as soon as the sky turned bright, Zhang Heng had already gotten up and started practicing crazily in his small courtyard. The invisible power of blood surges crazily. The dragon-like air column enveloped his body and kept rising. The surrounding air was also stirred up, forming a slight storm, and the roaring sound was endless. I didn't stop until my stomach growled with hunger again. As Zhang Heng closed his fist and stood up, his energy and blood completely calmed down, and the air in the hospital gradually returned to calm. He opened the system panel and looked at it. Open black lens bracket host close black lens bracket, Zhang Heng. Open black lens bracket cultivation close black lens bracket, first level of physical realm 883 10,000ths. Open black lens bracket main skills close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket Yuanshi creation skills heaven level close black lens bracket entry level. Open black lens bracket martial arts skills close black lens bracket none. Open black lens bracket secret method close black lens bracket, none. Open black lens bracket potential points close black lens bracket, 500. Zhang Heng looked at the panel and fell into deep thought again. This continuous practice has not resulted in any improvement in cultivation. It seems that the system has converted all the results of practice into potential points, so practice will no longer improve your cultivation level. After thinking about it, Zhang Heng resisted the urge to improve his cultivation and went out. First we had a big meal in the cafeteria, and then we went to the Sutra Collection Hall. The Buddhist Scripture Hall is an independent 5-story building with a simple and heavy shape. 2 solemn-looking servants stand guard at the door. After showing his ID card, Zhang Heng entered the building. The scene on the first floor suddenly came into view. On the left and right walls, there is a tall bookshelf, which is densely packed with various books. On the bookshelf on the left, there is a label labeled, Secrets. The bookshelf on the right is labeled, Miscellaneous Studies. In the corner of the hall, there is a square table, with a deacon in blue sitting quietly behind it. At the other corner is the spiraling staircase. When Zhang Heng came in, he just glanced at him and ignored him. Zhang Heng first went to the bookshelf on the right and found some books on martial arts knowledge and started reading them. Previously, Zhang Heng, his parents died prematurely, and was entrusted to live in an ordinary family in ordinary families. He basically had no chance to contact with martial arts. Later, he joined the Deluo sect as a handyman. It has only been more than a year now. In fact, he only has a partial understanding of many common senses of martial arts. And now, through a wealth of books, Zhang Heng finally gained a deeper understanding of martial arts and a more specific impression of the world. Martial arts practice. After reaching the mortal realm, martial arts enters the advanced level. The first 4 realms are called the physical realm, the true energy realm, the innate realm, and the spiritual sea realm. Each realm is divided into 10 smaller realms. In a top sect like Deluo sect. The first realm, the physical realm, is for the outer disciples. The second level, the true energy level, is for the inner disciples. The third realm, the innate realm, is for the core disciples. The fourth realm, the spiritual sea realm, is an elder. After that, I didn't see any relevant information. But obviously, there is definitely more than one big realm above this. Beyond the elders, there is also the head of the sect. Above the sect, there is also a holy land. The water in this world is very deep. Zhang Heng couldn't help but sigh. In his previous life, he was a fan of novels. He had read countless fantasy novels. It seemed that his abilities such as true energy and innate abilities had long been forgotten. But in fact, in this world, he is stronger than Superman. Not to mention anything else, the first level alone, the peak of the physical level, has a strength of 100,000 kilograms. According to the setting that each realm will have a huge leap forward, even if we only compare it in terms of strength, the peak of the Shantian realm is at least equivalent to the strength of tens of millions of kilograms. Such a terrifying power, if you punch at supersonic speed. I'm afraid that a certain bald Superman in Zhang Heng's previous life comics was nothing more than that. After thinking about it for a while, Zhang Heng calmed down again. Having a system, he will stand at the top of the world sooner or later. He came to the bookshelf on the left and began to look through various secret books. 9 Curved Sword, Yangtsing Gong, Liuhe Whip, Vajra Palm, Prajna Palm, Kaishan Fist, etc., they are so complex and diverse that it is dazzling. They are all secrets of techniques in the physical realm. Zhang Heng's expression suddenly changed. He remembered that the system seemed to be able to upgrade skills infinitely. According to the level of skills in this world, from low to high, they are Huang, Zan, Earth, Heaven, and the legendary **** level. Could it be said that ordinary exercises can eventually be upgraded to heaven level or even God level exercises? If so, that would be awesome. At this time, Zhang Heng's eyes lit up and he saw a secret book. Open black lens bracket bronze statue gong, yellow level, close black lens bracket. After reading some books, Zhang Heng also had a sufficient understanding of the exercises. Gongshu are mainly divided into 3 categories: main skills, martial arts, and secret skills. According to Zhang Heng's understanding, Mainly practice Kung Fu, which is mainly used for daily practice to gain experience and improve the character level, such as Yuanxi creation Kung Fu. Martial arts skills are equivalent to active skills, which can increase attack, movement, defense, and other aspects. The secret method is to acquire certain passive attributes through the practice of special methods. Chapter 5. The three skills are complete. For example, the bronze statue skill in Zhang Heng's hands. There are 5 kinds of secret methods in total. After Dacheng, the body is like a bronze statue, and the defense ability is greatly increased, especially against sharp weapons such as swords, which has a very significant effect. It's just that it's difficult to get started, and you need to use various medicinal bath combinations. Mastery is more difficult. In addition to medicinal baths, you also need to endure long-term forging. Furthermore, such a secret method is only a passive effect equivalent to increasing a fixed defense value. It has a great effect in the early stage and can give you a defensive ability that far exceeds that of the same level. However, after you have cultivated to a certain level, it completely loses its effect. After all, with the powerful destructive power of high-level warriors, not to mention the bronze statue skill, even a ball of meteorite can be easily cut into pieces. This defense bonus is basically negligible, difficult to learn and master, and will be useless in the later stage. Such a secret method is useless to most people. Zhang Heng opened the secret book and looked through it carefully. Just when he finished reading, a reminder sounded in his mind. Ding! Do you want to spend 1,000 potential points to learn the bronze statue skill, yellow level? Zhang Heng's mouth corners rose and he smiled unconsciously. In other words, as long as you have enough potential points, you can easily learn any secret technique and even ignore its various complex requirements. Don't study first. Zhang Heng was browsing on the bookshelf again. It didn't take long. 2 more cheat books were selected. The book is called Shattering Rock Fist, which is an attack-type martial arts technique. Using concussion to exert a powerful blunt blow effect. When practiced to the extreme, the explosive power can be increased by 3 times. One punch can crush a mountain. The other book is called Wind Step, which is a martial arts technique based on body movements. Through specific muscle coordination methods, breathing rhythms and running movements, it is an advanced movement technique to speed up movement and reduce air resistance as much as possible. 3 skills, 1 for defense, 1 for attack, and 1 for escape. Perfect. After copying down the 3 exercises, Zhang Heng left the Sutra Collection Hall. After returning to the house, he began to cultivate crazily. Yuanxi's creation power is running crazily, and its potential points are constantly increasing. When you are hungry, go to the cafeteria and have a big meal. For outer disciples, sufficient food is prepared at any time during the day, so Zhang Heng is not worried about the consumption of cultivation. The evening of the next day, Zhang Heng, who had accumulated 5,500 potential points, started adding points crazily. Ding! Spend 1,000 potential points to learn the bronze statue skill, yellow level, first level. A warm current appeared on his body out of thin air, blending into every inch of his skin. He could clearly feel that his skin was getting tighter and tighter, like strong cowhide, layer after layer being piled on his body. At the entry stage, only the defense on the body surface is added. But after a brief try, Zhang Heng expressed that he was extremely satisfied. So he continued to add points. Ding! Spend 1,000 potential points to learn Rock Breaking Fist, yellow level, entry level. Ding! Spend 1,000 potential points to learn Wind Step, yellow level, entry level. At the same time as the system prompt sounded, countless information streams also poured into Zhang Heng's mind. The experience and skills of the 2 sets of martial arts techniques were completely mastered by him in an instant, as if he had practiced them thousands of times himself. Zhang Heng spent 2,000 of the remaining potential points to upgrade the bronze statue skill to the 2nd level, and his defense ability increased significantly again. After adding points, Zhang Heng continued to practice crazily. With sufficient food, he can gain about 5,000 potential points every day, which he adds to his cultivation and several major skills. His strength began to grow rapidly. 20 days later. The sun is rising. In a spacious house. Hoo. It was as if a storm was roaring continuously, and the dragon-like flames rose nearly 1 meter high. Every punch, every kick, every movement of Zhang Heng affected the airflow in the courtyard. After a long time, Zhang Heng stopped moving, closed his fist and stood up. The slightly closed eyes suddenly opened, and a divine light bloomed in them. Open personal panel. Open black lens bracket host close black lens bracket, Zhang Heng. Open black lens bracket cultivation close black lens bracket, 4th level of physical realm 2340,000. Open black lens bracket main skills close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket Yuanshi creation skills heaven level close black lens bracket entry level. Open black lens bracket martial arts skills close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket rock breaking fist yellow level close black lens bracket perfect. Open black lens bracket wind step yellow level close black lens bracket perfect. Open black lens bracket secret technique close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket bronze statue skill yellow level close black lens bracket perfect. Open black lens bracket potential points close black lens bracket 10,300. In just 20 days, not only did his cultivation improve to 3 small realms, but the 3 techniques also reached perfection. Even at this moment, there are enough potential points to further upgrade the skills. Upgrade the skill, bronze statue skill. Ding. 10,000 potential points have been consumed. The exercise is being deduced. Please wait. Ding. The deduction is complete. Please name the new technique. Zhang Heng said without hesitation. Silver image skill. Congratulations to the host. You have learned silver image skill, Zon level, 1st level. A large stream of heat appeared out of thin air in Zhang Heng's body and merged with his skin. The body, which was already like a solid bronze statue, began to strengthen again, especially the body surface, which seemed to be coated with an extremely hard alloy. Zhang Heng returned to the room, took out a long sword distributed by the sect, and slashed at his arm without hesitation. This sword, he used all his strength. Kang. After a dull sound, Zhang Heng raised his arm and took a look, but there was no trace left. The bronze statue skill, which was perfect at the Huang level before, would leave obvious white marks on the arms. In comparison, the improvement now is more than a little. Even this is clearly not the limit. Zhang Heng couldn't help but smile with satisfaction. It is indeed a Zon level skill. Such a defensive ability is probably invincible at the same level. I don't know what level of attack it can withstand. After testing the effectiveness of the technique, Zhang Heng took his identity tag and went out. Today is the first day of the Lunar New Year, a time when sects uniformly distribute welfare. In Deluo sect, each branch has its own Enlu hall, and the Enlu hall of the outer branch is not far from the cafeteria. Zhang Heng went to the cafeteria and had a big meal, then walked in the direction of Enlu hall. Along the way, Zhang Heng saw many outer sect brothers wearing green clothes. Many people were in groups, chatting lively while heading to Enlu hall. Enlu Hall is a rather large house, and 2 long queues have already lined up at the entrance to enter in an orderly manner. After about half an hour, it was finally Zhang Heng's turn. He handed over his identity card, signed his name at the request of the deacon, and then left the house with a small cyan porcelain bottle. As soon as he left the house, 3 outer disciples with evil expressions gathered around him. One of them said with a smile, "Junior brother, my cultivation is about to break through to the 3rd level, but I am suffering from a shortage of elixirs, so I take the liberty of asking you to lend me some qi and blood elixirs. Junior brother, you have just entered the outer sect and your cultivation is shallow. The qi and blood pill will only save you a few days. You might as well lend it to me to help me break through. I will cover you in the outer court in the future." How? The other 2 people looked at Zhang Heng gloomily from the side without saying a word. Zhang Heng raised his eyebrows and looked at the speaker playfully. It seems that they have found out my information in advance and specially guarded me here, and they also want to use their 3rd level cultivation in the physical realm to suppress me. I can lend it to you. Kneel down and call me daddy. Thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe.